Really enjoyed my trip to Nebraska. So, anybody see any good movies lately?
Not really, no.
Oh. Read any good books?
Nope.
No. Nope. Anything new with corn?
Oh, yeah, corn. Corn.
Oh, yeah, corn, you bet.
Corn, yeah.
Corn is always...
Come a-running, boys, don't you hear the noise? Like the thunder in the sky. How it rolls along in a good old song from the sons of Nebraska. Now it's coming near with a rising cheer that'll sweep all foes away. So with all our vim, we're about to win, and we're going to win today. In the days of old, Johnny Bender bold would just take that ball in hand, and with Benedict right in front of him, they would set sail for the land. Then Doc Eager too, with a chosen few, would be all round everywhere, and before they quit, they would calmly sit down behind that goalpost there. For Nebraska and the Scarlet, for Nebraska and the Cream, though they go through many battles, our colors still are seen. And so in contest and in victory, we will wave them for the team, and we'll always stir a Cornhusker, the Scarlet and the Cream.
All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
We are Two Average Guys. Glad to be back. And it's been a couple weeks. It's first 12-team playoffs been, I don't know, entertaining, but also not entertaining at the same time. So wanted to talk a little bit about the championship game. We'll talk a little about some of the games that have happened as well. Talk a little bit about Nebraska football today, and maybe a little bit of Omaha hockey since they're on a roll here too. So first of all, as usual, I want to say thank you to Backswing Brewing as our beer sponsor. So thanks for always being there with us and for us. And then thanks to the Killigans for letting us use their music at the beginning of our show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great song.
All right.
I always get stuck in my head.
So let's start with Nebraska football. So then we'll get to the championship game. We'll talk about the playoff.
Okay.
And then we'll get into Omaha hockey. So first of all, Nebraska football. So a lot going on lately. Obviously, trying to get down to that 105-man roster. We've seen a lot of guys leaving, declaring for the draft, and then coming back, hitting the transfer portal, and then coming out of the transfer portal, going back to the draft. Kind of a lot of movement in, and that's just not Nebraska. That's college football.
Yeah, I mean it's everywhere. It's not just us.
What are your thoughts on not only the incoming transfers that we have coming, but also the guys that have exited the program, whether draft or transfer portal?
I thought Fedoni was an interesting one. We've been waiting for him to break out. I'm really bummed out that he never really did. Some injuries really set him back from really busting loose at any point in time over these last few years. Going to the draft, though, I mean, I know there's a lot of talent potential there. I just don't thought maybe he could have used another year, maybe somewhere else, just a different, scenery somewhere else, and maybe a better fit, unfortunately, to say that, because I really thought he was going to be good. But
yeah, well, there's just not. It's hard for a guy like him. There's not a lot of film.
I know.
As far as his career at Nebraska, there's just not a lot to put up. Missed the first couple of years due to injuries, which are killer, especially going to the NFL Combine. How's that going to impact him?
I can't imagine. I don't know. Maybe he will get drafted. I sure hope he does. I mean, there was guys like Nick Gates that I never really thought were very good that ended up being good in the NFL. So
yeah.
I mean, he's a former Husker, and I was so excited when he chose Nebraska.
Yeah.
And so it'd be great if he did something pretty good in the NFL, but I just don't know that I see it. I don't know if I see him getting drafted. Maybe he signs with somebody, but
so total of 61 receptions in his career in 2 years, with 663 yards. So 4 TDs, all coming last year. Didn't have a single TD this year.
I guess that's better than I was thinking. Maybe that's because he didn't have any TDs this year.
Yeah, he averages only 10 yards a catch. So he's kind of a common tight end. You're going to get downfield to the sticks and kind of turn him. Yeah, he's not a guy that has a lot of speed. He's not. I don't know.
it was a lot of 2-yard outs
Yeah.
that we saw from him that I guess is kind of
especially this
blinding me from this year.
Yeah, this year the play calling definitely I think was not in his favor, which I don't think helped him. I think if we would have had some better play calling for have that tight end seam down the middle, get him some passes,
that's why I thought
5, 6, 7 yards downfield would have helped.
And I don't know what kind of conversations they were having with him. I know it was almost like he got kind of benched this year. Some guys played ahead of him. But no, I mean, I wish the best for him. I don't want to elaborate on just one player for a bunch of time, but hope something good happens to him.
I'd be surprised if he goes drafted. I think he's going to be probably UFA. And if he does get drafted or does go UFA, he ends up signing with the team. Best of luck to him.
Maybe cracks a roster or makes practice squad.
Yeah.
So.
And who knows? Injuries can happen, and you end up finding yourself on an NFL squad too. So,
some of the other departures, I guess, portal wise, what Borkature went to A&M. That hurts.
Yeah. Williams goes to Florida State, which wasn't a surprise.
Annoying. What did Butler go to LSU?
Did he?
I can't remember.
I can't remember where Jamar is going.
I
think we all kind of thought
Bader's
he was going to go
Missouri. I think.
Yeah, we thought we were going to see Butler. Some of those guys followed Florida State, but Williams was the only guy. So, which to me is a little more surprising that we have guys like Jamari Butler and Bayer who are starters in black shirts, and they don't even go where their defensive coordinators are going. So
they just went to a SEC team that probably is going to give them money.
Probably paying them more.
Yeah.
Again, which is it. Nebraska's got the money. We do.
I know. It just that's what really sucks about this sport right now is guys, maybe guys like that or Prince Will's going to Ole Miss. I mean another just SEC.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way that it's going to be. Everybody's going to be looking, and I mean we've talked about that for a while now, but it's really just getting worse.
Percival, cheers, baby.
Hey,
Mikey. Miss you, buddy. And I think it's gonna continue to be this way. And I see posts from Husker pages be like, man, this one's a big loss. This one's a big loss. Yada yada. Like the viewpoint of a fan can no longer be that way because it's gonna happen every year.
Right.
You're very rarely gonna have a 4-year starter at your school anymore. It's just
it's
sign of the times.
It's
right?
It really kind of has made the sport a little, change quite a bit, like to where I've listened to people that are like, college football has always been my favorite thing, and now it's slowly not anymore.
But again,
it still is for me, but
it is turning into money.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see where we are 5 years from now and beyond. I mean, they've got to have a cap or something. I think there's something up where eligibility wise, you get they're planning or hoping or wanting to do something where you get 5 years to play.
Which I think is stupid.
Well, that's fine because I mean you could redshirt and then you could play for 4 years, but that's 5 years. You can't play 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean these guys that are getting. I mean that Vanderbilt quarterback getting another year. He's like his 8th year.
He's at 2 JUCOs, and I think that's the problem is what they're going to do is continue to. What's up, Donnie? They're going to continue to make rules and changes around the money game to give kids opportunities not only to make more money before they go to the NFL, but also play for more teams. And then you're talking the sport's going to change so much to where we're not going to recognize what it is, like you said, in 5 years. It's going to be so much different from what it is now. And I'd be shocked in 5 years if NCAA football is still part of the NCAA.
Right.
And we've talked about this before. I think at some point we're going to see this turn into more like your NFL free agency type filler, which college football is a filler for NFL, right? You're not getting a ton of guys from overseas coming and playing football in the NFL. So it is college football that's feeding these programs year after year. And so at what point does the NFL start to subsidize college football, kind of like NBA and NBA pays for WNBA, but obviously much bigger scale because college football is always going to be more popular than the WNBA. So and NCAA football makes money.
Yeah.
So at what point is it going to flip that switch to where it's no longer affiliated with the college per se?
Right.
And what does that mean for the student athlete?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's right? That's why I said, it's going to be really interesting to see 5 years from now. I just don't know why anybody would need to play for 8 years either. But.
Shit, Carson Beck, $10 million to go play for 1 year at Miami.
Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
You are not worth $10 million.
That's just not like you make more in that 1 year than you will in 3 years in the NFL.
Dude, and Cam Ward's better quarterback than you are, and he couldn't win. He couldn't win in Miami. What makes you think Carson Beck's going to win in Miami? $10 million? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they got it, more power to them. But
it's absolutely stupid.
I don't think that was wise. I didn't think he was very good.
That's just as stupid as paying Dak Prescott top money to be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, thinking he's going to win you a Super Bowl. It's just as stupid. It's just as dumb.
They could be bringing in the Dion and Shador connection.
Stop. We're not talking about that.
We won't talk about
We're
that.
not going there. She's going to piss me off even more. But $10 million for a quarterback to come and play at your school for 1 year.
Yeah, and I mean,
in hopes for one national championship. Is it?
Right.
I know that's a lot of money coming your way, but
right.
It's not going to happen, Miami. You don't have the guys, the jailbirds you used to have back in the early 2000s and 90s.
That's a good point.
You don't have your convicts
for one national. I mean, I guess maybe they could think, oh well, we can just snag somebody else next year for another 1 year and win another one, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, teams are gonna. That's the thing. Teams are gonna start buying their way to a championship, and I mean, again, we've seen this. This is not new paying players, of course, but the fact that it is visible now, and we know what these kids are being paid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I've said it before, I am pissed because I wish that would have been nice in college. Maybe I could have had a chance to play college baseball. I don't know. Got paid a little bit, but. It's absolutely ridiculous that these kids are making millions of dollars.
And who's to say they're not going to get hurt right away?
Yeah.
I mean, they probably have certain things in their contracts or whatever. But what if you're just like, I'll just kind of half-ass it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make $10 million, so I don't really care.
They're not getting paid for name, image, and likeness. They're getting paid to play.
Yeah.
Very different for getting paid for NIL. NIL was supposed to be
signing autographs, going to events,
running camps. You're getting paid for your image to be used
in a commercial or whatever.
Go do car commercials and have them give you a car, whatever.
Yeah.
But just to get paid up front before you even take a snap at their school, that's not NIL.
No.
Again, there's some revenue sharing amongst the schools, some revenue sharing amongst what the football program is bringing in. But again, when you're spending $10 million on one player, I mean, if I'm in that locker room, I'm like, shit, $10 million, you better take us to the championship game. Otherwise, we ain't friends.
And I would if I saw him, slacking at practice or slacking in the weight room, I would jump on his ass right? For sure.
It's like Cam Ward. Yeah, they said it was planned. He wasn't supposed to play in the second half. Well, no, the plan was for him to get a silly, stupid record and then sit out. That's not a teammate.
No.
That's not a teammate. And I don't know what Cam Ward was making, but
that really would piss me off.
Go win your game, dude. You had a chance to win your bowl game. That means a lot for the school. It's more money for the school. It's more for your teammates. They want to win that game, and then you just bail on them.
Yeah.
And so
it's almost like people don't really even care about the game anymore.
Yeah. It's again, more power to Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders for going and playing their bowl game.
Yeah,
they didn't have to. They absolutely could have got hurt. Shador almost got hurt a couple times, getting sacked. One of the 9 times he got sacked in that game.
Right.
Travis Hunter absolutely could have got hurt, but guess what? He didn't make a lot of hits on defense because he probably didn't want to. But they played. They played. Yeah, they played. And that's what I think everybody should do. If you're getting money to play for the football team, when you get to bowl season, I don't care what bowl game you're in, you better be playing. Or don't show up.
Yeah.
Or don't show up.
And then they should take X amount out for not participating.
Yeah. Well, and I actually saw that. I'm trying to think.
That's what I would do.
I'm trying to think where I saw it. I don't know if it was actually something they're looking at in the NCAA or if it was just some random fan throwing it out there as an idea of hey, you're getting paid, and if you sit out a bowl game, a certain amount of money should come out of your paycheck. Mm-hmm. There's a basketball coach who said it was a week or two ago. I can't remember which coach it was. Was it UCLA's coach? He basically said
he's been pretty vocal.
He's been very vocal. Well, they've had to travel back to New York in 2 weeks.
I know.
And go back to the West Coast. So I get he's pissed, but he benched somebody and said you're not doing what you're getting paid to do. And people have a problem with that. I'm like, no. These are now
these are
amateur professional. These are pro-am athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
they're amateurs. They're professionals. Yep. They are getting paid to play a game. If just like a professional player, if you're not doing what you're doing, if what you need to do to get paid, sit the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You're making millions of dollars and you suck. You ain't going to play next game.
Exactly.
So
next man up.
I think that
for cheaper
coaches need, and again, people are like, coaches can go from one place to another. Yeah, they can. They're adults though. Much different than a college kid. It's not, these kids don't have jobs. Their job is to play football and they're getting paid to play football.
Mm-hmm.
So coaches have the authority. They have the right to enforce rules. Kids don't like the rules. Hop it.
Yep.
Get out of here. Go somewhere else. But I wish more coaches would be vocal like that. Be like, you're not getting paid. You're not doing what you're getting paid to do. So take a seat. Now you can't do that with the coach, of course, because again, the argument would be like, what about coaches when they suck? Well, they get fired.
Yeah, that's exactly.
As a football player, you can still make money and sit the bench.
Yeah.
So I think there's just so much. Oh God, I keep going on it. I'm gonna stop myself because I keep going on it. But it's just stupid that
it's ruining college sports.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly college football.
It won't get better. Is my end line. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse.
Yep, and it has. We've said it was going to, and it has
before it happened. But we do have some good transfer guys coming in.
Yeah, for sure.
We know we're spending money on guys to come here too. We're not spending probably $20 million, but
you got to play the game.
Yeah. We have to play the game. Otherwise, Nebraska will never be competitive. I thought it was going back to the transfer portal. I thought it was really interesting. Some of these guys that are leaving, I think it was someone went to Charlotte. Another person went to like East Tennessee.
Right.
It's like most of the starters are going to go and probably play because they would play in Nebraska. So I don't know if, again, change the scenery, more money is probably money. But like, how does that – you got to get a phone call before – the tampering, we can talk about that for a second. There's tampering going on, obviously, because they mentioned that with Dowdle. There's no way that didn't. James Williams, the guy I would question, probably didn't happen because he wanted to follow his coach. He probably talked to his coach.
That's fine.
But guys like Bayer, the guys that go to these SEC schools, they had to be getting phone calls before they hit the transfer portal because you don't know what you're not just gonna hit the portal and someone calls you from LSU,
especially
or
when teams are having to trim roster size.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe us more than others, but everybody's having to.
Yeah.
So you might not even have a spot to go to.
Yeah.
So if you're already on scholarship at a school, why would you leave to essentially go into the unknown?
Yeah.
And hope that you land, and then obviously guys are landing. So
and that's one thing that I think the new rule with the 105-man roster is going to change the way people view the transfer portal as far as the kids, because they're not just going to go say, hey, I'm going somewhere unless they're getting that phone call. They have to really make sure that's the decision they want to do, because they don't know. If they don't get picked up, what are they going to do? They got to back out of the portal and hope they still have a roster spot on the team that they are with. Look at Nair.
Yeah.
I'm going to the draft. No, I'm hitting the portal. No, I'm out of the portal. It's like, all right, well, Nebraska doesn't want you anymore. So you're going back to the draft. You have to. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Or
we brought in other receivers.
Yeah, but then there also could be the situation where a guy hits the portal saying, hey, we want you on our team. Hit the portal. You hit the portal, and then they say, sorry, never mind. We picked up somebody else.
Yeah, you were too slow.
So you can also get screwed over as a college player too, because again, you were too slow. I played in my bowl game, whatever, and now I can't go anywhere. So there's just so many different things that could go wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. They need to figure out a way to regulate it, like a way that you can. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
So. And that's why I don't think the NCAA has the intelligence to do so.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to dedicate somebody to it because they didn't want it in the first place. They didn't do anything to regulate in the beginning. They're not going to do anything to regulate it now, which is why I think the NFL is going to have to take over and do a supplemental league, and they're going to have somebody oversee it, or multiple people oversee what's going on in college football. Just a thought. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years we see something like that unfold.
Yeah.
So, and why not? To me, it's a good investment by the NFL.
Well, and then it could be more structured.
Yes.
Than just a free-for-all.
Yes. Which I also think, speaking of the NFL, I saw Goodell came out and say, hey, we might actually go up to 18 games. And eventually it's like, dude, stop just adding games to the schedule. Like, you can take away preseason games. But again, it's a money grab.
It is.
Because people are continuing to watch it. And you say all you want that you don't like Mahomes and all those hits that he takes. They keep on calling roughing the passer when it's not roughing the passer. and you're going to stop watching, but one person stop watching isn't going to impact their money.
Right.
You can say it all you want, and you're not going to stop watching as a fan anyway.
Yeah,
whether you like Mahomes or not.
If there's games on, I'm going to watch.
Yeah, me too. It's on the TV. Anyway, so I did see Isaiah Garcia Castaneda is leaving as well. He's in the portal.
It doesn't really make very much sense to me. All he did was fair catch punt returns.
Well, he's also a guy that
he was injured.
He has another year of eligibility because of the new ruling with JUCO. That's why he's still able to play one more year.
I guess if he's rehabbed enough to where he might be able to play somewhere. I mean,
if he can go play receiver, he wants to play receiver.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Yeah. He wasn't going to play.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. We had other wide receivers in. He didn't get to play wide receiver last year except for maybe a few snaps.
A little bit here and there.
And I thought maybe we'd see a little bit more of him taking snaps. But the fact that we didn't, I don't blame him for leaving. I think that's a smart move on his end. I think he has a lot of talent. Hopefully successful, but we'll see. And then we got Deshaun Singleton coming back.
Yeah, that's huge
because it's the same thing.
JUCO guy. Starter.
He's a JUCO guy.
I didn't realize that was because I thought he was like playing in the Senior Bowl or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But now he can come back and play because of the new ruling that NCAA came down with Pavia at Beatty.
Okay,
so he's able to play one more year. So I'm happy to have him back. I mean, that's huge.
That's a piece, a veteran piece on defense, and we lost a lot of the other guys around him. So
I think that's big when you think of guys like Christian Jones and McGahee and Mathis, these guys that are coming in on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's huge to keep him in the fold.
Some type of a veteran leader because he's a big hitter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The guy's got a good head on his shoulders. So looking forward to Singleton staying around. Donnie, you mentioned Saban. So a lot of people want Saban to be the commissioner of college football. I don't. It was really funny when Shane Gillis was like, "Hey, what's up, Alabama Jones?" He called Saban Alabama Jones.
Shane Gillis is amazing.
Yeah, he was so pissed at that comment too. I don't know because he's talking about Bama paying players. Like we tried to do things the right way. It's like, dude, everyone knows you're in the SEC. You got paid. Like it is what it is. Well, everyone else is doing it too.
And then once all NIL went crazy, Saban was like, "I'm out."
Well, he also that's just a lot to manage as a coach too. So I don't blame him. He's too old for that shit.
Yeah.
Saban, they're talking about a commissioner of college football. I don't know if Saban will want to do it just because, for one, age, time he's already dedicated to the game. Does he still want to do that? I don't know. But you have someone overseeing that. I mean, it's not just one person, man. You got to have a smart team to put something together. Not just for NIL, not just for the transfer portal, not just for these collectives, not just for the schools, for the players. Then you're looking, the playoffs, like all these things encompassing. You're gonna have to 50 guys on one team, all looking at what do we got to do to manage everything going on. But I don't know. I don't even know what's gonna happen. I mean, again,
and then you'd have SEC bias even more so than it already is.
Yeah,
but no, I don't know if he's necessarily the right fit because if I were him, I wouldn't do it. But who knows? Maybe he would want to.
Nancy, is that his wife, Nancy?
I can't remember.
I don't think Nancy wants it either.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe she wants him out of the house. I don't know.
I wouldn't. Don't sign me up for that role.
Too much. But it'll be interesting to see if that's the route they go. Speaking of the college football playoff, let's dive right into that because 12 teams, first year with 12 teams. We got a lot of whining and complaining from the SEC.
Yep.
A lot of whining and complaining from guys like Alabama, Lane Kiffin. Really just those two. When it comes to the SEC. Alabama, Ole Miss. Sorry, you guys had 3 losses. You didn't deserve to get in. We've been over this.
Yep.
You had 3 losses no matter what conference you're in, no matter who you lost to. I don't care. You don't deserve to be in with 3 losses. There's going to be other teams with 2 losses that deserve it over you. A lot of people say it's all about getting the best teams in. It's not. It shouldn't be. It's about the teams that earn it.
Yeah.
You still have to earn your way in. You can't have 3 losses and claim to be one of the best teams when you lose to a team that got to 6-6 by beating you.
Right.
And when you lose to an Arkansas team, when you lose to a Kentucky team, you lose to teams that you shouldn't lose to. A Vanderbilt team who was 7-6 to win their bowl game. That's not a good loss. But because it's the SEC, it's a quality loss. No one's buying that anymore.
Because of the preseason rankings.
Yes.
Yes.
But no one's buying that anymore.
No, a team like Indiana, guess who they lost to? They had 2 losses, including a playoff loss.
Yes.
Their 2 losses were to Ohio State and Notre Dame, the 2 teams that are playing for the national championship.
Yes.
So they were well enough deserving.
Yeah, and Donnie, I do think it is the Wild Wild West. I do think they got it right. Listen, a lot of people don't agree with that. A lot of people are like, oh, expand to 16 teams, get more teams in it. NCAA football is the only NCAA sport that can't get right when it comes to the postseason, a pro sport. I disagree because you get more and more teams, the more and more it gets saturated. You play to win the game.
Yeah.
You have to play the game on the field to find out who's better in that moment. It doesn't matter what you do all season. You can't say the SEC is better than any other conference until they play. And they proved in the postseason they are by far not the best conference.
Right.
The Big Ten is by far
and they all
the better conference.
Just say, they didn't care about the bowl games because they weren't in the playoff. Well, the teams that were in the playoff, they all got beat.
Yeah. The Big Ten have 14 teams go postseason?
Somewhere around.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Minnesota won. Nebraska won. I mean, we got Illinois won, beating an SEC team. Michigan beats Bama. Did they not want to be there? I don't care if they wanted to be there or not. They lost.
Right.
So, at what point are we going to stop with the excuses and just play the game on the field and say, this is the result we got? That team was better that day. Because what you did all season doesn't matter. What you do that day on the field matters. We almost beat Ohio State. We should have beat Ohio State if they called the 4 holding calls that were obvious.
They have a very possible, very high probability of winning the game tomorrow, which we can talk about in a minute.
We will. Arizona State should have beat Texas.
They should have in that playoff
They
game.
didn't get that targeting call. They absolutely should have got it. You can argue with me all you want. He lowered his head, crowned the helmet, hit the face mask. That is all day. And my brother Andrew will argue with me on that one too. He didn't think it was targeting. 100%. I think it was targeting.
I thought it was, but that's just me.
The replay, the slow-mo replay shows
according to
either way.
Either the rule or the way that they call the rule.
And the rules analysts are even like, that's targeting.
Right.
By the book. So, but either way, whether they would have scored or not, I don't know. But it gave them a better chance to win.
Okay, so I have a question for you. So, obviously, like we've talked about, somebody's going to be upset. Team 13 is going to be upset or whatever.
Yep.
Team 5 was upset. It's always going to be that way.
Yes.
But my question is, do you think there needs to be a better way that they seed?
Yes.
Okay.
I
agree.
Your 1 through 4 should be whoever finished the season 1 through 4. Georgia was not a bye team. They shouldn't have got a bye.
And honestly, Boise State should not have gotten a bye. I mean,
Arizona State probably should have got a bye.
Boise State deserved to be in the playoff, but I don't think that they should have gotten a bye.
Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and who was 4? Texas. There's your 4 teams. Well, Texas lost to Georgia in the SEC championship,
right?
So it was either
Penn
Georgia.
State lost to Oregon, so
I still think those 4 teams, maybe Georgia over Texas, but those are the 4 teams that would have had a bye. But you would have had 3 Big Ten teams, and guess what? Everyone's going to be pissed about that.
Right.
The SEC is going to be pissed about that.
Yeah,
maybe not everybody. The SEC.
But if it's the other way around, then we're the best.
That's how it should be, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So
I have 2 or 3 other teams in on the back end.
Yeah, so I think that's probably one change they will make.
And I think they should.
And people are still going to be pissed about it. And we talked about this last year before the 12-team playoff. We talked about it. We said someone's still going to be mad. Someone's still going to get left out or feel left out. Miami felt left out. Then you got Ole Miss, Alabama felt left out like they should have been in.
Yeah,
they felt BYU probably would have been a better fit.
Oh, for sure.
Not Arizona State, but probably better than Boise, maybe. Probably better than
SMU.
Yeah, SMU. Clemson.
Probably better than Clemson.
I mean, they were a much
even
better
though Clemson.
fit.
Clemson showed up for their playoff game
for a little while.
For a fair amount of it.
But I think BYU was by far the best team in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's going to be tweaked a little bit. I do think they're going to make some changes with the seeding.
Yeah, I don't know that you necessarily need to win your conference championship to be a top 4 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're number one and you lose your conference championship game, more than likely you should still be in that top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're 3rd or 4th, but 2 teams in your conference play for the conference championship. That would have been a scenario this year. Ohio State, then they probably should have hosted. I mean, I guess they lost Michigan at the end of the season, so
you don't even play your championship game.
Hit. But no, I mean, it's just like every other sport. Like, it's not always the best teams that make it to the championship. That's why they have a tournament.
That's why you play. You got to earn it.
The 16 seeds have beaten the number 1 seeds in the basketball tournament before.
Yes. And we've seen upsets in baseball, monumental upsets.
Yes.
Coastal Carolina.
Oh my God. In the college hockey,
one of the best runs ever in college baseball.
In college hockey, the 16 seed has beaten the 1 seed like 2 or 3 times at least.
Yes.
And it's like a team that only gets in because they won their conference championship.
Yeah.
And they get in and knock off, Denver or Boston or Boston College
Mankato,
or North Dakota. It's crazy.
But like that, and that's
why they play the games.
But that's why people love college basketball so much. Like I don't care for basketball at all. I don't watch it till the season ends and it's a tournament. But because the tournament is so exciting, every basketball game throughout the season is not that exciting.
No.
College football, every game has to be that exciting now because you can afford 1 loss, but if you have 2, you're on the bubble already. And it depends on who you lose to at that point. So if you have 2 losses, you just don't know what your fate's going to be. It all depends on how everyone else does that day.
When Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, I mean, they were done. They had no chance. In my mind, they had no chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I figured they'd probably have, another loss at that point, and that would be one of the worst losses of the season, which it still was. But here we are, and they're playing for a natty tomorrow.
Then they run the table.
Yep.
I mean, you also argue that maybe losing to Michigan was one of the worst that late in the season to lose to a team that needed to win to get to a bowl game. Right. That wasn't a good loss for Ohio State.
No.
So again, you can have that argument early in the season, late in the season. If you lose early, does that matter as much as when you lose late in the season, maybe even to a worse team? I don't know.
At this point, no, because they both made it. But
that's the argument too. Is we now have 2 teams in the national championship that did not play for a conference championship. That doesn't matter anymore. You got 12 teams.
Totally
There's
fine
not 12
that.
conferences.
That just means that there was decent games.
Yeah, and that's why
it's not Alabama against freaking Georgia.
Yeah,
it's not Alabama against Ohio State.
But then what does Notre Dame do? They beat Indiana. They beat Georgia. They beat Penn State to get to the championship game. What does Ohio State do? They whoop up on Tennessee, which was beautiful. I don't even like Ohio State. Beautiful. And then they go ahead and beat Oregon.
Number 1 overall seed.
Yep.
Undefeated.
And then they beat Texas.
Yep.
In dramatic fashion. I mean, and that's as dramatic as that game could have gone. The way it ended was, again, it's an instant classic, whether you like it. I hate Texas with a passion. I hate Ohio State with a passion.
I was obviously cheering for the Big Ten in that one.
Yes.
And I'm not.
And that's the only way to go.
Always cheer for Big Ten guy.
That's the only way to go.
Especially Ohio State. So against Texas and the SEC all day long.
And it's funny. The way it ended was just hilarious. But now they're talking about Quinn Ewers. Is he going to hit the transfer portal and go play and get paid $10 million? Is he going to the draft?
I think he's going to the draft.
He's going to the draft. But that was a lot of talk. It's like, hey, he could play another year and go play somewhere else.
Probably could have made a lot of money.
People
somewhere too.
People also thought Arch Manning should have started that game and he would have taken the championship. I completely disagree.
I completely disagree too.
He can run, but he doesn't pass like.
I had heard that Ewers was going to Notre Dame at one point.
I heard he was Big Ten teams.
Or
also
that there was a couple Big Ten schools or Notre Dame, and I really thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, but again, you look at the route that both these teams have taken to get to where they are now. I mean, it's a route that probably most people didn't think. Will Howard is playing above his talent level right now. He is playing out of his mind. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback. I think he is playing way above his talent level.
Agreed.
And again,
he's got a lot of talent around him.
He's a solid quarterback.
He is.
But he is not as good as he's been playing. His passing's been on point. But again, he has great talent around him.
He's got good running backs, which makes it easier to open up the pass game. He just has a face that I want to punch because I really just don't like him, and I think he's like so cocky for how much talent he does have.
And he's been there for 1 year.
And
it's not like he's a 4-year guy. Yeah.
And he's just not as good as he thinks he is.
Do I not like him because he was at K-State and I liked him there, but then he went to Ohio State and I'm like, I hate you now?
Yeah.
Is that it? Like,
that might have been the
unconscious bias?
That might have been the step in the doorway there.
Yeah.
But now
Ohio State,
he just comes off the field and he's like this and that. Like I was so happy when they lost to Oregon and he didn't get down in time to call a timeout and the look on his face because he's just so cocky.
Now we got to apologize, Ohio State backers. I know you're probably going to see this, but
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We're not sorry.
I'm definitely cheering for you guys to win the game tomorrow.
We're not sorry. We're just being honest. But I really don't think he is as good as he's been playing. I think their game plan with Chip Kelly has been on point. I think they have come into every game prepared, knowing exactly what they're going to do, and they have executed every single play that they need to execute, and they've executed well. I think that is the difference between him playing how he is now compared to how he played throughout the entire year. He was not elite by any means throughout the year, but he picked it up after that Michigan loss. I mean, for someone who shouldn't care about the rivalry, really did. All of a sudden, I get your whatever, but like he hit a different level when they got to Tennessee, and the game plans and the execution have been better than anybody else in the college football postseason that I've seen.
No, I guess I will say I am kind of cheering for them to win tomorrow because we should have beat them. And you know what? If we would have, they probably wouldn't have made the college football playoff.
Nope.
Especially losing to Michigan. Maybe that.
It would have been 3 losses.
Maybe the Michigan game. I mean, I don't know. That's one of the biggest rivalries in sports.
A lot of what ifs. Right?
Maybe they come out saying, "Hey, we have to win this game to make the playoff." At that point, they pretty much knew they were in anyway because a loss to Michigan isn't going to hurt you that bad.
Yep.
In a rivalry game like that.
Yeah. So I think, this game tomorrow is intriguing. It really is.
Oh, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Ohio State's red zone defense has been phenomenal inside the 10, especially inside the 5, more so inside the 5 than even inside the 10. But the red zone defense has been phenomenal. But don't discount Notre Dame's defense either because they've also been phenomenal.
Xavier Watts is a stud,
averaging 3 to 4 yards per carry on defensive side of the ball. Their defensive backs have played outstanding. Clark and Watts have been fantastic. I just think
their run game's strong.
Ohio State has the offensive talent above Notre Dame. I do think Notre Dame's defensive talent is above Ohio State's, but it's not by far. I don't think it's a big gap. The offensive talent, the only reason I say it's better is I think Riley Leonard is not. He is not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
But he's been probably playing kind of like Will Howard. He's probably playing like a little bit.
I don't even think that. I think he's playing his style. They're able to draw plays where he can run.
Right.
And when he needs to find a way, he finds his checkdowns. He does the little things right because he's not a guy that can throw the ball 20, 30 yards downfield like Will Howard can. Yeah. He needs those short routes because he doesn't have a great arm. He's not very accurate downfield.
Yeah.
But they call plays to where he can throw the 5, 7, 10, 12-yard routes that he can hit. If you go farther, they're not getting a lot of big gains in the air. They're getting big gains on the short routes, and the guy's running. So,
right. And their run game is strong. And having a good run game does open up for those short to intermediate routes.
Yeah.
And if you can, chip away at that type of a game plan, it can work.
Was it Jeremiah Love? Is that their running back?
I believe so.
That scored that touchdown when he was hit at the 3-yard line?
Maybe the 5.
Talk about he got hit at the 5 for sure. Talk about pure determination as you are in with a jacked up knee. He also hurdled the guy
against one of the best defensive teams in the country.
Yes, and
one of the best defenses.
That run got me jacked. Like I was excited. I'm like, that was one of the best fights I've ever seen from a running back. Solely just him, no offensive lineman, and he's carrying 2 guys with one guy on his leg into the end zone.
Didn't get a knee down or a butt down or an elbow or anything, and got in there. That's a cool run. It was a cool run.
That was a pure example of I want this more. I want this more. Not more than you, but I want it more.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do whatever I can to get in the end zone. That was 100% on him, and that was one of the purest. Like that run is going to go down in Notre Dame history, especially if they win the national championship.
For sure. If they
even if they don't, sure. It still probably will because that was amazing.
So, what's your prediction?
I think it's going to be close. I've seen a lot of people Malik Zaire is given bulletin board material to Ohio State. Man, if you need bulletin board material from someone who used to play out of school that's not, and you don't deserve a championship. You ask me. Like you should be motivated enough.
You shouldn't need bulletin board material for a national
I always thought that was
championship.
kind of
Maybe
funny.
for the next season moving
But
forward.
but I think
Not for the championship game, though.
I think Notre Dame's defense finds a way to get a couple turnovers to win this game. They did it against Penn State. Drew Allar, I mean, great season. I don't know why they didn't target
Their tight end
more.
He's a stud.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's a first
unreal.
rounder for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But they didn't target him enough, if you ask me. And Penn State, I mean, hell of a good, fun team to watch. Defense. Number 11 on defense was.
Oh my gosh, he's like freaking Micah Parsons.
That's exactly what I thought of right away. He's got his number and everything, but I think
Penn State kind of pissed that game away.
I do. And Notre Dame defensively.
Not pissed it away. I mean, Notre Dame obviously won the game, but I think Penn State could have won that game.
I think offensively they could have had a different game plan to give them a better shot to win it. But I do think Notre Dame, Ohio State is going to be close. I think Notre Dame's defense is going to create a couple turnovers, whether in the fumble territory or an interception. You might even see some special teams.
I mean, they did have
their special teams is pretty solid.
Second half kick return for a touchdown against Georgia.
And I think their 3 phases of football.
They're probably the best overall.
Yeah,
at this point in time of the season.
And maybe a little edge on Ohio State overall, but I got Notre Dame by an edge. I'm going to give it like a 6-point swing for. Okay. I know Ohio State I think is favored by 8.5.
Are they really?
9.5 maybe? Yeah, they're favored in this game.
Okay, well I'm going 24. I'm going 24-21.
Yeah,
Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm not.
I could see like a 27-24 where each team gets a field goal.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, I think Ohio State, and I kind of hope it does go that way. I hope it's a 3-point game.
I think
it'd be a fun game to watch.
I think for Notre Dame, I think their rush defense, even more importantly, their pass defense is going to be just as important because they got dual, 2 running backs that can run. But same thing for Ohio State. Notre Dame, if they get their run game going like they did against Penn State, I mean, you're in trouble, man. It's got to. Both teams, no matter who's winning at half, it's got to be close. It's got to be a 6 to 8 point lead at half for one of those teams. Or even
these teams,
it's hard to predict.
I kind of forgot about these teams played last year at the start of the season. If you remember the Ryan Day and the Lou Holtz beef.
Yep.
Yeah. Travion Henderson, I believe, was phenomenal in that. If I'm Notre Dame, I am watching that film and making sure they do not run the ball the way they did last time.
Yes.
If they can shut that down, I mean, both sides are going to be doing that, right? But then Notre Dame, I mean, they might have the edge. I guess I could say that I could see them winning by 3.
Yeah. Again, I'd say anywhere from 3 to 6 points. I think you're going to see a very tight game, and I hope it's a tight game.
I mean, too.
I really hope neither team runs away with it. I hope. Again,
that's what I was hoping for in the games yesterday,
Yep.
just to make it worth watching. Obviously, I care more about the game tomorrow than I have the NFL games because my team lost last week. But my team lost last week.
Hey, your team made it.
My team made it to the playoffs, and they lost. Yes, it was to a rookie quarterback, but then he knocked out the number 1 seed yesterday.
Absolutely.
So,
I don't know. I think tomorrow's gonna be fun. I'm excited to watch it. Donnie's got 27-13 Notre Dame. That's 14-point lead. Woo, man, Donnie. I know a few Irish fans that might go streaking if that happens, even in the cold weather that we're having.
I mean, we held Ohio State to their fewest points, I believe, of the season at 21. They're going to score points. I know Notre Dame's defense is good, but they are going to score points. I see them scoring more than 13. But
Donnie, you're right.
Donnie,
if it's 27-13, we're going to send you some Husker swag. If it's Notre Dame wins 27-13, you're getting like $100 worth of swag from 2 average guys. We're going to send that to you. So,
and if not, no, I'm just kidding.
If not, no, but I wouldn't mind that. I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams are playing at the height of their talent level right now to where this game should be a classic college football championship game.
I really hope so. I mean,
I hope it's one of the best. I do.
The last time Notre Dame made the championship, they got ran off the field by Alabama, and I posted something on Facebook because Notre Dame hadn't played for the national championship in 25 years since they won in '88.
Yep.
And I posted something about, thanks for giving us, hey, Notre Dame, thanks for giving us the worst national championship. Maybe you'll get a chance to redeem yourself in another 25 years. And Dick blew up on me.
Oh, I'm sure he did, yeah.
Yes, it's hilarious.
Probably talked about Nebraska right now.
Probably.
Yeah.
Of course, Nebraska at that time in 2013 was a lot better than they are now.
That is true. That is true. So we'll see. I'm excited. So outside of football, Omaha hockey has really played really well the last 2 weekends. So really, I mean, it swept Miami, which Miami has 1 win all year, or 1 point in the NCHC all year.
Yeah, they're really bad.
They've lost 14 games in a row. Omaha's beaten them 10 times in a row.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry to just step in on this, but when I played juniors in Alaska, our goalie was from Ohio, and Miami, Ohio was #1 in college hockey.
Bro, no way.
And their coach came up on an off weekend and watched us. Our goalie pitched back-to-back shutouts.
Nice.
And they offered him.
That's awesome.
And he took him to the national championship as a freshman, and they lost in overtime to BU. But he was a finalist he was a top 10 finalist for the Hogue Baker,
which is crazy.
And it's just like, how drastic did that switch?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They haven't been good in years.
Because UNO at least has been consistent. Like, there's been a couple of ups and a couple of kind of downs, but for the most part, they're kind of in the middle to upper tier, I'd say.
And right now, they're
anywhere from like 3rd to 6th, maybe.
They're 3rd place in the NCHC right now. NCHC, and which is by far one of the best conferences. And people are like, oh, like, look at the records, look at this. Yeah, but look who had to play. Like, the conference up and down minus Miami is a solid conference. And so I do think UNO is playing really well. I mean, they swept Colorado College last weekend, which, we're 6-2-2 against Colorado College in our last 10 games against them, which
crazy too.
Which is also crazy because the last 2 years Colorado College has really been better. Mm-hmm. But we swept them at Colorado College last year, which kept them out of the Frozen Four. We knocked them out, and we screwed North Dakota as well because we swept them before going to the Frozen Four, and then we beat them in the Frozen Four.
Right.
So
before losing the championship.
Exactly.
But I am beyond frustrated at how they do these pairwise rankings because which is the system that they use to seed for the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
UNO has the same record as St. Cloud, who's 17 in the pairwise. UNO is ahead of them in conference play. UNO is 38th. That doesn't make any sense.
UNO's better in the conference, and St. Cloud just got swept by Arizona State.
Yeah. And they may have dropped after last night. I'm not sure, but
make it make sense.
Like it doesn't. Like typically, I'm watching this, and in years past, UNO was not even playing as good as they are right now, and they were like in the 20 range.
Yeah.
And like you got to typically probably be about in the top 13, 14 maybe, because there's going to be some conference champs that are not in that top 16, and so they're going to bump somebody out.
We also get out of conference. We beat Wisconsin and we beat Minnesota.
Right.
Out of conference. And we beat Mankato.
A lot of I think there was a couple of bad losses early on, but a lot of the losses even were close. It's not like they
got swept by Augustana, which was bad.
But even their pairwise is pretty decent.
Augustana is a pretty solid team.
Yeah, their pairwise is pretty decent. So I was looking through their schedule, the other day, and I was like, okay, that team's decent in the pairwise. Like the losses that they have are not bad.
Yeah. I agree.
So I don't get it. I guess there's still some season left to pick up some wins and maybe make a run in the conference tourney. But
yeah, and we got St. Cloud next weekend on Friday, Saturday. So St. Cloud State, if you're in the Omaha area, come check us out. If you haven't been to a game, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I know Dan Bletcher is always there, so we get to see him when we go to the games. So Dan, I know I'm going on Friday for sure.
I'm not sure I'll be able to go,
but anyway, yeah. But
it'd be nice to get to a game this year, but it's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Yeah, kids. But would love to be able to see more fans there. I mean, they do a pretty good job getting fans in the building.
Oh yeah, Miami did not.
That arena was empty.
The arena was empty watching.
But St. Cloud State Friday, Saturday. That's a big matchup, big conference matchup. Hopefully, get it 3 to 6 points out of that. Sweep would be nice to get 3 sweeps in a row, but they're playing good. They're playing good hockey right now, is what I know. And if you guys know anything about hockey, you watch hockey. I mean, they're a fun team to watch. They still have a young squad. They also have some veterans that transferred in. So
right.
So we'll see what happens.
I am kind of impressed that Arizona State's in first place in the conference.
Arizona State's they're a scrappy team.
Did we get swept by them?
I think we split.
Okay. Well, either way, I mean, you're talking UNO's ahead of North Dakota, Denver, CC, Duluth. St. Cloud's in 8th in the conference.
Yep.
And they're
They're ranked in the top 20, or were ranked in the top 20.
They're 22, so they dropped 5 spots after losing yesterday. But and Augustana's 23rd.
Yeah. So again,
38th. Get out of here.
Yeah, UNO is going to be fine. They just got to take care of business and win some games down the road. Getting a sweep against St. Cloud would be sweet. Yeah. So
might put them in first place in the conference after that.
It could.
I mean, at one point in time, Friday night and last night, they were first place in the conference
before other games ended.
Before the other games ended, but
still fun. Fantastic. Well, Jim, you got anything else for today?
I don't think so.
I know Brian and I are going to be heading to the Supernovas game this afternoon at 3:00. So definitely get to Omaha Supernovas game if you can. They got some ex-Huskers and Creighton players on the team. Allie Batenhorst, Kayla Caffey, Lindsay Krause, and I can't remember the Creighton girl who's there. But yeah, they got some good talent on the team this year. They're doing pretty good. So you can stream down. I guess you're talking about hockey. You can stream the hockey game on NCHC TV. You do have to pay for it, though.
Yeah, it's like $125 a year.
It's going to be a little bit cheaper now. It's probably about half that for the rest of the season. But
I think you can have up to 5 people on it, so we all split it.
Yeah, I got.
You can watch any game in the conference.
I got at least 5 people on my on mine.
Yeah.
So
you can watch any of the conference games when they're playing conference opponents. Like early on of the season, like you couldn't watch UNO in that Vegas tournament.
Yeah.
That kind of bummed me out.
If they're playing at home or against the conference,
right? Because it's a local broadcast. Like there'll be a UNO broadcast, or like this weekend it was a Miami broadcast. UNO's not biased really, but if you watch a North Dakota game or something, they're extremely biased on the broadcast.
Miami announcers, kudos to you. You are not good, but you were trying so hard to hype up Miami.
Oh, they were.
You're trying so hard. It's hard when your team is so bad.
It's hard when your team's that bad.
We lost 14 games in a row, but yes, you can stream it, and you do have to pay for it. So, but again,
it's cool because I watched North Dakota and Western Michigan after the UNO game got over.
Yeah, so if you're a hockey fan, college hockey fan, definitely worth it in my mind. So.
NCHC is a good conference.
Absolutely. All right. Not sure what's next, guys. We'll probably get together and talk about the championship game. Hopefully it's epic. Either that or hopefully it's 27-13 win for Donnie. He's going to be praying all night for that. But really, really hope it's a great game. I think they did it right this year. I do see changes coming, whether they expand it or whether they
tweak it a little
change
bit.
the seating. I think they'll probably look at the seating first before they do anything else. But we'll see. Anyways, I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
We're 2 Average Guys. We'll see y'all when we see you
next
soon.
time.
So go Big Red as always.
Come on, good game, everybody, yeah. Pat, I think it's safe to say that all these fans came out here to watch a game of football.
John, ring commercial.
Yeah, I know, I'm just making conversation. Come on, football!
Come a-running, boys, don't you hear the noise? Like the thunder in the sky. How it rolls along in a good old song from the sons of Nebraska. Now it's coming near with a rising cheer that'll sweep all foes away. So with all our vim, we're bound to win, and we're going to win today. In the tanks of